If you're constantly just taking one more trade, this video is for you. Overtrading is the fastest way to blow a funded account, an evaluation, or a personal account. Overtrading at the end of the day is not a strategy problem. It is a personal problem. It's a you problem. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to stop overtrading. So what is overtrading? Overtrading is actually not just taking a lot of trades. It's trading outside of your plan, forcing setups, revenge trading after a loss, taking trades because you're bored. Most traders don't lose because they're wrong. They lose because they just can't stop. They treat trading like gambling. One more roll at the table, one more hand of cards. So why are you overtrading? Trading gives you dopamine. This is a good thing and a bad thing. You get a hit of dopamine when something goes really well, and you are chasing that. Or we naturally chase it. It's not something we're consciously trying to do. We want to have a big trade. We want to hit a big trade. And if you haven't hit any big trades today and you're looking for one more, you're probably looking for another dopamine hit. Wins feel good. Losses trigger that urge to make it all back. At the end of the day, a lot of this is caused by a lack of clear direction for yourself. You don't have clear rules. You don't have a defined stop loss on the trades or a daily stop loss of when you must walk away. You get bored during slow markets, and so you just fire trades away because it looks good in the moment without following your actual setups and strategies. You have ego and greed, which we all do, but that ego and greed makes you want to be in the market more. You want to make more money. You want to not be red on the day. Both of these create overtrading. One rule that we can implement to stop overtrading is to cap the number of trades that you're taking in a day. You could even look at your data and see, when I take less than 5 trades a day, I make more money. After 5 trades, I start to lose more money. Why is that? Because a lot of times it's emotionally exhausting to trade, and our perception and our reality that we're seeing in front of us slowly starts to fade away, and we're not making as clear and crisp decisions because we're quite literally fatigued. So look and see, how many trades am I on average taking a day? What time of day am I taking trades at? Maybe if I'm taking 3 trades in the first 10 minutes, but later on in the day, I only take 1 or 2 trades and it works better, maybe I should stop trading the first 10 minutes and only focus on the time frame when the couple of trades are doing really well for me. One thing that a lot of people like to do is implement like a max number of trades of 2 to 3. I think this could be really good for beginners. It's not necessarily for everyone because sometimes the markets are moving in a way that react really well for you, but it's a good rule when you're first starting out in order to force yourself to see and execute on really good setups that you have for your strategy. When you hit that number of trades for the day, you're off. You're closing down your platform. I want you to literally close your platform and leave your desk. If you're not capable of leaving your desk, close your platform and take a walk around your room, breathe, and open up your actual work or next project. It forces selectivity. It forces you to execute at a high level. And at the end of the day, scarcity creates discipline. If you're not constantly feeding yourself with BS trades, you're forcing yourself to be disciplined by waiting for a trade, and that discipline creates a habit, which makes it easier to be disciplined over and over and over again. The next rule is to have a daily loss limit. At what point are you losing so much that you snowball it out of control and you start revenge trading and emotional trading, etc.? It might look like $300 for someone. It might look like $1,000 for someone. That's up to you at the end of the day. I also think that your data will show you this answer as well. A lot of times you can look at an equity chart of P&L by time, for instance, and you notice that like at 10 o'clock, I'm at a red P&L of $500. Over time, after $500, I don't recover that. Like if I'm down $500, it usually leads to me being down $3,000 or whatever, just for the sake of the example. But maybe at $300, if I'm red $300, a lot of times I can recover that. You need to find what's the threshold where you no longer recover and put your daily stop loss there. It's very hard to recover from a $1,000 red day. So if you're trying to trade at $1,000, you end up revenge trading, blowing the account, cut yourself off, close down the platform, put in a hard daily loss limit of $1,000 to where you're no longer going to trade after that because historically, the data shows you don't recover from that level. At the end of the day, this protects your capital. It sounds weird to say that having a daily loss limit protects your capital, but it does. Even if you're locking in a red day that is very hard to recover from is better than letting it snowball out of control and blowing your accounts. The flip side of this is having a daily win cap. Again, this is going to look different for every single person, but for a lot of people, they end up chasing these weird psychological numbers that the market doesn't care about. I'm at $995 and I just want $1,000 so I can say I made $1,000 trading. What happens when you're looking for that $5 extra? You end up pissing it all away somehow. It's incredible. I've done it tons of times. What I want you to do is have a number that you walk away at. Maybe it's $500, maybe it's $300, maybe it is $1,000. But when you hit that level, Be happy, be good with it. Don't let greed come in. Don't let your ego come in looking for more. You're destined to be overtrading if you're doing that. Another way to fix overtrading is to pre-write out your setup. When you sit down at your computer in order to trade for that morning, write out what you're looking for. Look at your charts, analyze them, and then write out a couple different if-then statements. If the price goes here, then I'm going to execute this. If the price goes there, then I'm going to execute this. Doing this allows you to wait for the setups to happen, and then you execute, as opposed to overtrading, firing in, trying to catch the move to the if-then spot that you shouldn't have been trading in to begin with because you actually cared about this level. You didn't care about it coming down into the level, trying to trade that section. You cared about it bouncing at this level and trading that section. So write it out pre-market or right when you sit down at your computer and wait and execute that. It will inherently help your overtrading, make you use better decisions, help your strategy and your analysis. Overall, a very good thing to do. The last rule that I'm going to have you implement is implementing a shot clock. What this looks like for me is if I take a trade, after my trade, I personally like to wait. I don't want to fire in another trade. I must wait. I usually wait like 5 minutes at least. A lot of times I'm waiting 30 minutes in between trades, but put in a time where you are the minimum amount of time you're going to wait to execute a trade. This will prevent overtrading. It is so easy to take a trade, have it hit your stop loss, and then you see it make a little move and you're like, oh, I was just barely off. Let me get in again. And you fire it right back in there, thinking that the market's gonna make its move up or whatever. And then it stops you out again. And then you do it again and again and again. And at the end of the day, you're in this same cluster that you started out, but now you're 6 trades in the hole, all losers, just because you thought the momentum was shifting right after you got out of a different trade. If you were implementing a shot clock rule here, that first trade takes a stop loss. You're forcing yourself to wait 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Keeps you out of that overtrading cluster, all of those losses, all of the momentum and the emotions and the FOMO that start coming up. It removes all of that, prevents you from overtrading, and allows you to wait and execute when the setup is actually there. Those are the 5 rules, and here's the truth. Overtrading is emotional trading. You don't overtrade because your strategy is firing off every other second. You overtrade because you're experiencing FOMO, you're experiencing revenge, you're experiencing tilt, you're experiencing ego, you're experiencing greed, and you have to trade. Your emotions are forcing you to trade because you're in that state. You need fewer, better decisions. You need to cut down on the number of trades that you're physically taking. You need to know how many trades you're taking, know the number that you're going to cut yourself off at, and execute at that level to where you are forcing yourself to make better decisions. That takes out the emotions and puts in the analysis and discipline side of trading. At the end of the day, professional traders get paid for patience. They get paid for risk management. They get paid for being selective. What I want you to walk away with is stop thinking, how much can I make today? And instead think, what type of setups can I take that are not going to make me overtrade and still let me hit my goal? So here's what I want to leave you with. At the end of the day, stop thinking about quantity and instead start thinking about quality. And you will inherently stop overtrading when you flip that mindset shift. If you struggle with overtrading, I want you to write out the word discipline and what you're struggling with. Someone else can comment on it. I try and comment on every single thing as well and potentially can help you in the comments. I also make a ton of trading psychology videos here on the YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe. If you enjoyed this video and you found yourself learning how to not overtrade, make sure you press the thumbs up button down below also. We'll see you in the next one.